Hello, welcome to Bike Matters. My name is Alex, and in front of me is the Ducati Scrambler Full Throttle Edition. We've been riding this today at the press day around the Silverstone roads and really enjoyed this. It's been a really nice introduction because it's the first time I've ridden the Scrambler range. And the Full Throttle is a sort of spec'd up flat tracker version of what is a really nice Scrambler bike. So let's talk about it, let's have a little look around it, and we'll get on with the review. So, as you may have already seen the Ducati Monster SP review, which hopefully went out a little bit ago, this is now the Full Throttle that we're going to look at today. And it was the press day with Ducati that we came down, had a taste on 3 bikes. So, of course, Monster SP, this Full Throttle, and then also had a little taste on the Multistrada V4S. In any case, this is the Full Throttle from Ducati Scrambler and really enjoyed riding this. Again, it was only around about 2 hours, so it was a nice little taste of what this bike can do. And it's left me wanting a little bit more. I won't lie, it's not quite always the bike that I'd go for, the sort of Scrambler style, but it's really interesting what this can do. And one of the most important things that I found on this bike is the 803cc L Twin, which is a Desmodromic. If I've said that right, let me know in the comments if I haven't. I'm sure you would anyway. And it's a beautiful motor to work with. It's 73 brake horsepower, so A2 riders might want to consider this one. And in terms of the torque output and the sort of power delivery, it's really nice and smooth. You've got 2 rider modes, you've got sport and road, and this one just feels so nice to ride. If you really push on, don't get me wrong, it will actually do that, but if you're just going to be putting around town in cities, the nice wide bars mean that you can just really sort of feed the bike into corners, especially when you're pushing on a bit. You can really tuck in and just get a nice feel through the corner. And that motor itself is really the sort of character thing that I find that sets this bike apart from the sort of umpteen other Scrambler models that you find everywhere, really. There's so many Scrambler bikes out there nowadays. But what Ducati can do is what they've put into this bike, and that's that Desmo sort of inlet outlet vibe that they've put into this. And it just feels so nice on the road. But what I'm going to do is talk a little bit more about what the bike's about and how this is different from the other Scrambler models. And first things first, especially when you look at it online, it's the number board there. And they say that this sort of harks back to their Scrambler heritage and some of their older Scrambler competitive bikes, and it just looks really nice. The bike itself, of course, from Ducati is a garage delight. It's one of those that you'd park up, walk away, and have to have another look at as you're walking away. It's just a really nice looking bike, and I did forget to mention the price. It's £10,995, which isn't too bad, really. I mean, yeah, you can find other bikes that are cheaper, but Ducati in general, you know you're paying a premium, but you're getting some premium bits on this. Another thing that's premium is a Termignoni exhaust on the rear. Just stunning, sounds really nice. When you're riding along and you let off the throttle, go down the gears a little bit, you hear some little pops and bangs, and it just feeds my soul. I don't know if that's a silly thing to say, but it absolutely does. I'll hear it and I'll just think, oh, beautiful. Anyway. So let's continue on looking at some of the other bits of spec on this bike. In terms of what you get on it, of course, it's the Full Throttle Edition. You're going to be going full throttle everywhere. And if you're doing that, you want to be able to stop nicely. And the Brembos that are on here, hello. The Brembos that are on here are really, really good at just providing that stopping power naturally. Got a big disc on the front, got a big disc at the rear, got Bosch ABS with cornering on there as well. So if you're really pushing on, you know that you've got the Bosch cornering ABS, which is really good. And I was pushing the brakes a little bit through the corners and even trying a little bit of trail braking just to see. And it really gave me that sort of confidence that it was going to help out if needed. Of course, today's been pretty beautiful weather. So we just had to reframe because the wind's picking up, and it's been a lovely day, don't get me wrong, but natural British weather, you can never really predict it. Anyway, we'll continue on. So the engine, really nice, smooth delivery. It's not too overbearing, it's quite easy to ride with, and it's just good fun, really. Then you move to the brakes. Of course, if you're going to go full throttle everywhere, the Brembos that are on here are really decent. You've got adjustable levers, so the clutch as well as the front brake. And then the back brake works really nicely. Now, jumping off the Monster SP to this, of course, Brembo brakes in general are really good, but the Monster SPs were spectacular. Then the Full Throttle here, they were really good still, and you put down the rear brake in particular, and I felt it sort of hammer on and anchor on the brake, which is really nice. Clutch itself is really nice. You've got bi-directional quick shifter as well, and it all just comes together nicely and really easy to handle this bike. Just feels nice and responsive. Wide bars, as I say, so you've got a lot of control over the bike, and it's that nice single seat It sort of goes all the way to the end and then just cuts off. There's no hanging scaffolding off the back where the number plate is, because the number plate's behind the wheel. To the suspension, you've got 41mm Kayaba forks and a rear shock as well. Now these ones cannot be adjusted, and it's a good thing really, because they were pretty much perfect for me. I'm 6'3", so for me fitting on the bike was good, and sometimes I feel a little bit too big for a bike, but this one was absolutely fine. And in terms of the seat height, I believe it's around about 830mm. Actually, just check my notes, the seat height is 795mm. It's always difficult for me to judge because I'm 6'3", so all bikes feel fine. Brett is a little bit shorter than me, and you may have seen some of his videos. And yeah, he might be on his tiptoes, but on this, I really doubt it. 795 is so accessible for everyone, so he's gonna be fine. But you can also get accessory packs to make it lower or higher. And speaking of accessory packs, because this is a Scrambler, you've got loads of customization options to just sort of chuck bits that you want on there and make this really your own bike and exactly how you want it to look. The TFT screen is really, really nice and clear. It's the similar one that Ducati used sort of across the range. So it's really easy to use and navigate. You can go through your rider modes whilst you're riding, as long as you close the throttle, and it all just comes together nicely. Of course, you've got the standard bits in terms of fuel gauge, you've got your gear indicator, your revs, your speed, and it all just comes across nice and clear. And the dash itself, weirdly, when I was trying to take a photo, it looked really glary, but I had no problems at all whilst riding seeing the dash, which is always good. You've got a 13.5mm tank, and again, we're only riding for about 2 hours, so I can't give you any sort of fuel range of what real world riding would provide. But in any case, it seems like you're going to be able to get at least around 200 miles if you ride nice and sensibly. If you're pushing on, it's going to be less than that, but that's up to you really, isn't it? Tyres I did find noticeably grippy. There's a sort of Scrambler flat track style, so they're a bit knobbly, but they're really good on the road. They don't feel like they're going to struggle on the road for the sake of looks, which is really important, because of course bikes like this, you want to look a certain way, especially when it's like the flat track inspired one. You want it to at least look like it's a flat tracker, and it does do that with the Pirelli hoops, and they're really nice and grippy, I've got to say. So as I say, this is only a real sort of first taste of the Scrambler Full Throttle, and it's a spectacular bike. It's really nice, easy to use. It can push on, and of course that's what you want from a bike with that Ducati engine in there. But in terms of what this provides for your money, £10,995 is a premium bike, so it's not quite as accessible, but it's a Ducati. It's got the premium price tag because it's got premium spec. And I really enjoyed riding this. I'd love to ride this a little bit more. Try it on some sort of light gravel situations as well, just to see how it is. I mean, I stood up on the pegs and I was fine. I was quite enjoying it. Sort of feeling the suspension nice and soft. Just in general, this bike is really accessible. If you're an A2 rider, I'd probably look at considering this as like a future purchase, because if you've got that sort of Ducati taste, and as well as the fact that it's the Scrambler, and I'd just give this a look. It's really worth a go. You may also want to consider like the Yamaha XSR, there's a Moto Morini, Sei Mezzo Scrambler. There's loads of Scramblers on the market now, of course, Triumph, there's just so many. But this one, it really sets itself apart because of that motor. And I've got to say, it's a very interesting bike to ride, good fun. Full review with my coherent thoughts are going to be found at the Lexham Insurance website, so lexhaminsurance.co.uk, and that's where BikeMatters blog is. And of course, you can check out social media for a few little other bits and pieces. Subscribe to stay up to date with me and the team, to see what we get up to, because this year is going to have quite a lot in store. So I say subscribe. In any case, thanks so much for watching. Leave a comment on what you think about the Ducati Scrambler down below, and I'll say ciao for now. See you later.